Hey guys, welcome back to Dibs on Half with me, Gabby. And today we're gonna be making one of my favorite dishes, savory tomato rice with a sweet, spicy harissa honey chickpeas. First thing you're gonna need is a bowl. And we also need 1 cup. And we're gonna use the cup and we're gonna measure out basmati rice. I love basmati rice. If you're new to my channel, you'll quickly learn basmati rice is my favorite rice. It's just so dang fluffy. Like, how could you not like it? It's the fluffiest rice of them all. And we're gonna go ahead and rinse the rice in cold water and let it soak for about 20 minutes. Now that our rice is soaking, we're just soaking it to get all the starch off of it. The more you soak it and for the longer you soak it, the fluffier the rice is gonna be. So that's what we're doing now. Now we can move on to the chickpea portion. We got our garbanzo beans, and we're also gonna go ahead and drain the garbanzo beans and rinse them really, really well. What we're gonna do is take the honey, and we need 2 tablespoons of honey here. And this honey is very thick. This is honey that I got from a farm, so it is not super runny like you buy at the grocery store. This honey I've had for a minute, so it's a little bit thicker. So I'm just gonna pop this in the microwave for like 10 seconds. Now that the honey is all nice and runny, we're gonna take the red harissa here. It's spicy. And I'm gonna take a tablespoon of this harissa. Just dump it in there. And this is so good. I cannot wait for you guys to try it. I'm also gonna do a couple grinds of pepper and a pinch or 2 of salt. And then we got apple cider vinegar. And apple cider vinegar is so good for you. And during my pregnancy, I'm at 5 weeks today, and this baby does not want me to eat junk food. Every time I eat junk food, I regret it immediately, and I don't think she likes it. So she wants me to be healthy, and I'm so thankful that I have cravings for healthy food and not bad food, because it just makes life a lot easier when you actually are craving something healthy. I am so lucky with that. So I got 1/4 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. And I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, the garbanzo beans. So we're gonna stir this around and get it all nice and well incorporated here. Now we're just gonna pop the lid off and just dump the garbanzo beans right into the bowl. And we're just gonna mix it around. After that's all nice and mixed up really well, we're gonna take it over to the stove. I'm gonna take these garbanzo beans and I'm gonna stick them in the skillet on medium low. And we're gonna stir them around, and we're just gonna slowly heat these. The rice is all nice and soaked now. So you see how cloudy the rice water is? So we're just gonna dump it out, and make sure you use cold water. And we're just gonna rinse it until the water runs clear. And I'm using a rice cooker today because I really suck at making rice on a stovetop. If you're like me, you know what I mean. Like, it sucks so bad. trying to make rice on the stove when you have no idea how to do it. So the water is pretty clear, and I'm gonna try to get all the water out of it without dumping the rice. Dump the rice in here. When I'm using 1 cup of basmati rice, I like to use 1.5 cups of water. And I also like to salt my rice because nobody likes bland rice. I like to season everything. If you are old to this channel, you already know your girl seasons everything in life. I think it's so important. Next, we're gonna move on to the paste portion that we're gonna mix the rice in. So I have half of a red onion here that I'm gonna dice up as fine as I possibly can. And for this dish, I like to get everything prepped before I start cooking because the paste portion goes really fast and I don't want to end up burning anything, so I like to have everything nice and chopped and prepped before I even start the cooking process. So that's why I'm doing this all beforehand. And give your chickpeas a nice stir so the flavor gets all over all of them. I have a bunch of garden tomatoes here. If you're getting your tomatoes from the grocery, try to get 1 large tomato and a medium tomato. And you're gonna wanna dice these up as small as you can as well, just like the red onion. And if you don't have a red onion, white works just as well. I've used white onions before when I didn't have any red ones, and they worked just as good. When you're done with the tomatoes, we're gonna move on to 2 cloves of garlic and some fresh ginger. Now we're just gonna take the wrapping off the garlic, obviously, and we're gonna grate this. And if you don't have a grater, that's perfectly fine. Go ahead and just chop it up really tiny, mince it up like you've never minced anything before. But I have a grater, so I'm just gonna grate it. And any pieces that your finger got too close to the grater that you didn't want to hurt yourself, I'm just gonna chop up the bigger chunks and mince them real good. And then just add it to the grated garlic pile here. And now we're gonna peel our ginger. And when you have the ginger all nice and peeled and all that bark off, you're just gonna grate it just like you did the garlic. And I love ginger. Ginger is so good for you. This whole meal is good for you. There's so many vitamins and everything. The garbanzo beans are a very good source of fiber and protein, especially if you don't eat meat. It is an excellent way to replace that loss of protein. We're almost done here. The chickpeas, I just tried one, amazing. The rice just popped, so that's done, and it's just on warm. And I'm gonna put about 2 tablespoons of oil in a pan. I'm using olive oil. And I'm gonna dump out all of the red onions into the pan with it. And we are gonna cook these until they're translucent on medium heat. And we also need a Indian bay leaf, and this is what they look like. They don't look like normal bay leaves you have for chicken noodle soup. They're a little bit different, and you could definitely find them at your local Indian grocery store. And if you don't have a local Indian grocery store, I'm so sorry, they're amazing. But there's always Amazon, should have it. And I'm just gonna stir it around and let this cook. It's probably gonna take about 10 minutes till this gets translucent here. The onions are all nice and soft. And at this point, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add the garlic and the ginger to the pan. And we're gonna stir this around for about a minute and get it all nice and incorporated and heat it up with the onions. And this is smelling amazing. I can't remember if I said this, but ginger is so good for you. Have you ever been to like a juice place? And I swear they put ginger in everything. It's so good. It seriously does not take that long to cook up the ginger and the garlic because we grated it so fine. And now we're gonna add the spices. We add them now so they can wake up a little bit and enhance the flavor before we add the tomatoes. For this dish, we have half a teaspoon garam masala, half a teaspoon chili powder. Usually Indian cooking does not have chili powder like you put in like chili, you know, like the chili stew kind of thing. It's a different kind of chili whenever you see it in an Indian recipe. So I have Kashmiri chilies from India as well, and I have 1/8 teaspoon turmeric here. And I'm just gonna add it now. And we're gonna stir this all up and wake up those spices like I said. Need to heat this for a little bit, probably like 30 seconds. Just enough time just to wake those things up. Now, we're gonna go ahead and add our tomatoes. And we're also going to add salt at this time. And I'm just doing a couple pinches. And the reason I'm adding it now is because salt breaks up tomatoes and softens them really quick. So I'm just gonna stir everything around and get the tomatoes nice and seasoned with all these spices and garlic and onion and everything. I'm just so excited. I think my baby's excited too because I'm freaking starving. You guys, don't make fun of me, but I don't have a lid for this pan because it didn't come with one, but it is my favorite pan, so I use it all the time. So I'm gonna take a different lid and just stick it right over it because it'll seal all the way. So the onions, not the onions, so the tomatoes get nice and soft and moisten up into a paste. So we're gonna turn this temp down to low and we're just gonna let these tomatoes cook down for about 10 minutes. While my tomatoes are cooking, I'm going to cut up some cilantro. I feel so bad for you if you do not like the taste of cilantro. You could always substitute it out for fresh mint. But I love cilantro and I like a lot of it. So I'm putting a whole crap ton in this dish. So don't mind me here. Okay, let's check on the tomatoes. And we're looking for them to really break down into a paste-like consistency. And they're definitely getting there. At this point, I'm gonna get my rice ready to add to the pot. So I'm gonna get a plate, and then I'm just gonna stick it right over the rice cooker like that. Grab a little towel, because I don't wanna burn myself, and just flip it onto here. Look at how easy that is. When you do this, it might not be that easy to get the rice out. It tends to like stick to the bottom of my rice cooker, but that's okay. We could just get it out. Just take a little spatula and it'll come right out. If yours comes out in one fell swoop, that happened to me once, you are a lucky, lucky person. But this is coming out pretty dang good today. Sometimes it gets really stuck to the bottom of my rice cooker, but not today, honey. And we're just gonna take a fork and just fluff it up. Separate everything, make sure it's all nice and beautiful. You might even give it a taste to see if it needs salt. I might need a little salt. So I'm just gonna add a little salt. Do we see the fluffiness of this rice? You can't tell me this isn't the fluffiest rice. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the lid off because we want some of the moisture to escape so it becomes more thick of a sauce. And I'm just gonna add a touch more salt to it. Look at our beautiful chickpeas. They're all nice and flavored and done. Try one just to see if these need salt as well. They're so good. They're more sweet than salty, so if you like them more, spicy, so if you like them a little bit more spicy, add a little bit more harissa. Are you guys ready? I know I'm ready. So I'm just gonna go ahead and unplug this. And I'm gonna take out this bay leaf. And now we're just gonna add the rice to it. And fold all that tomato ingredients into the dish. Get it all nice and flavored with all that tomato. You guys don't even understand how amazing this dish is. It's so good. You will not be disappointed in it, let me just tell you. And now we're also gonna add that cilantro to it as well. I cannot wait to eat this. So I'm gonna go ahead and plate some for myself. Get a nice heaping portion of this beautiful rice. And then I like to squeeze lemon juice at the end over my rice just to get a little acid. And I'm also going to get some of these delightful chickpeas on here. And look at this amazing meal. This looks so banging. Oh my God. All right, now it's time for the taste test. This is so good. Every time I eat this, I'm blown away at the flavor. It's amazing. These chickpeas are so good. And this is a nice, healthy, protein-packed meal. It's so good. Oh my God. So good. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Because do you see this? Do you see what I just made?